South African consumers are at risk of personal information data breaches after a hacking at Experian SA. Credit data belonging to about 24 million South Africans and 800,000 businesses was exposed by hackers. If the perpetrators are not intercepted, this could compromise the information of almost half of South Africans. These are details used by banks and other companies to determine credit worthiness. Joining us to expand this discussion even further is Aki Anastasiou, tech expert. Aki, very good morning to you and thank you for your time. South Africans are in a state of panic and, I mean, looking at the numbers, the personal details of around 24 million South Africans at risk, it's quite a huge factor. What does this breach really mean to consumers?
Well, it's very scary how this breach actually happened, and Experian is a company that does credit checks on us. So when you go and apply for a home loan or finance, the banks use their records to check on your credit worthiness. And what happened was an individual fraudulently obtained these records from Experian, purporting to be using it for research purposes. We're not sure yet, but we do know that this person was attempting to use this stuff for marketing purposes. What is fortunate is that Experian has acted pretty quickly, and we've heard that the South African Banking Risk Centre, SABRIC, have also sent out various statements because this is a serious thing that has happened. And what we understand, what Experian did yesterday, they issued an urgent court order. We call this court order an Anton Pillar court order. And basically, it's a court order that comes from the 1970s, actually, in the UK, where authorities can attach the goods pertaining to theft of data, identity stuff. So what they did was they went to this individual. They went and they took the items that the data was sitting on, the computers and all that sort of thing, and we are told that the information has been erased and consumers should be rest assured that it is under control. This is what we understand from Experian.
Okay, that really sounds like good information to hear. But how has Experian reacted, as well as the banks reacted to the news of this hacking?
Well, it's very serious. The banks have acted very swiftly. Experian has acted very swiftly because, remember, this personal information is out there. Remember, the POPI Act, the Personal Information Protection Act, has been in place since the 1st of July 2020, as the President has said. And it's very serious because companies can be in for some serious fines if this information is misused. So fortunately, the banks have reassured the public that they've reacted pretty swiftly. Experian has also said the same thing, but we don't know yet completely if this information is safe. In other words, that this information hasn't gone further than this individual's computers that were seized yesterday.
And how would one know should their identity be compromised? I mean, what are the signs to look out for without the thorough information on whether or not that information has all been taken from this hacker?
Well, remember that the information that Experian has on us is all our, accounts that we've been dealing with in the past, credit records with our personal information like bank details, for example. So I guess, and email addresses possibly as well. So I guess that we will only find out later. Sometimes a lot of these hackers who do these kind of things hold on to that information, and you might only hear, it might only get leaked 6 months or even a year down the line. So we don't know yet the extent, but we have been told by Experian and some of the banks that they've seized this information and they've really got it under control. So I really do hope that this is under control. What we will see is the legalities now coming out of this with the POPI Act and what the government is going to do, because questions need to be asked as how did this information get leaked so easily? How did a third party get in touch with an organization like Experian and manage to get 24 million records of South Africans just like that? How is it even possible in 2020 in the background of the POPI Act?
And how does the consumer protect themselves? I mean, with this information in the hands of who knows, well, nobody knows at this stage, but what does a consumer do to ensure that their PINs are safe and taking those extra precautionary measures to protect your identity?
Yeah, well, we're not sure yet what kind of data has been stolen. So we're assuming it's personal data like your bank records and your credit records, for example. I don't think things like your email address has been compromised, your PIN numbers of your banks have been compromised, etc. It's just data that this company has that it uses with the banks to provide information about yourself so that the banks can verify you and issue you with credit information. I don't think they've got your personal information like your PIN numbers and that kind of thing. But consumers should be very vigilant. They should follow what the news is saying about this specific topic. And I'm sure Experian and the banks will issue further statements throughout the day to consumers to reassure them and to safeguard the data that that has gone out, that is going to be protected, and to reassure consumers that they are safe and not in risk of any further attacks on their identities.